Strip away the flags, the crying fans, the stats, the studio, the history, and the World Cup is just an attention machine. Once you see that, everything about it makes sense. I want to look at how soccer makes money, what the business model is, and why billions of people show up to watch every sporting event, especially the World Cup, spend a lot of money, and show up to watch it. The World Cup is not just about sports. It's not just a sporting event. It's all about attention. And once you understand the product, once you understand the business model, what FIFA does, from expansion to deals with host cities to sponsorship deals to bringing in influencers, to bringing in new media, all that would make sense. And you understand that it's genius. It's about staying in business, it's about actually growing that business. So I want to look at why soccer exists as a sport. Who makes money off of it, from FIFA to the clubs to the different federations, and why for cities it's okay to sign up and they choose to sign up even if they lose money in the time being. What soccer is entertainment. It's all about entertainment, just like theater, just like the movies, just like any form of entertainment, just like any other sport for that matter, but we're focused on soccer here. It's entertainment with a sense of belonging, with a sense of attachment that you have to an outcome, to a team, to a country, to a club, and it goes on and on from there. You have, for the World Cup, we're mainly talking about this, you're looking at countries against each other. So it's clear why people would have a certain feeling or a feeling of affiliation to that country. You know, you're from that country, or you have some sort of attachment to that country, and you support it. But let's look down to the core of what soccer is. You have clubs. So mainly Europe, everybody's familiar with it. It's in the Champions League. Let's take it one level at a time. In the Champions League, you have maybe one team from a country against another. Okay, maybe people from that country would support it, although that's not always the case because of local rivalries. So to take it to local rivalries, you have city versus city. In England, you have United, Liverpool. You have in Spain, Real Madrid, Barcelona, so on. But also within a city, you have rivalries. In London, Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham. In Madrid, Atletico, Real Madrid. It's a sense of belonging to a country, to a city, to a neighborhood, to a brand. And this is what it is. It's live performance, synchronized in a way to put together a performance for the people, competing against another live performance, seeing who can put that performance better, who can put together a better performance to out compete the other side. And with that, have their supporters or their fans feel a sense of achievement, feel a sense of accomplishment, or disappointment, or sadness. And this feeling is what gives it so much power over any sort of entertainment, any other sort of entertainment. When you're looking at theater or movies, maybe you have some sort of an emotional connection to a character, and they try to do that with movies, of course. But with this, you have a continuous sense of attachment. There's a false sense of war. The World Cup, think of it, they're countries against each other. It's a false sense of war. You're going against a different country. At the end of the day, it's entertainment. That's the industry that it's in, but it has something specific. That's why you have so many people involved in that, with the media talking about history, giving you more information, because it builds up that event like a war. Why is this game more important than your team playing someone else? You tune in, you pay attention more, the money adds up, and we'll get to that in a second. But it's attention, it's entertainment. The attention that entertainment gets is unrivaled because of the sense of attachment. You think about it. This is your team. You debate, you argue, you look up news, you're watching everything that's happening before the game, after the game, during the game. This is unparalleled when it comes to other forms of entertainment. And this is what the industry is about. When you understand that, you understand why all these pieces are there with the media, with the influencers, with everybody else. The players are performers. They are performers. They are trained performers. They have to be able to perform at a certain level. They perform a certain task live at a certain level in synchrony. This is what you have to see it as. This is what it is. But also, you feel a sense of relatability to those people. They give you their stories, their background information, and you support them as they are representing you. You feel that you're winning. You feel that you're losing. You feel that you're accomplishing something. And this is the core of everything else. Entertainment, attention, belonging, false sense of war, false sense of accomplishment, false sense of achievement, and everything in between. How it generates money is simply a matter of monetizing that attention, monetizing fan loyalty, fan attachment. That's the business model. So every organization along the way is going to try to extract value out of that attention, out of that attachment, and help you actually create more, or try to create more attachment and more and spur more attention. Start with organizations like FIFA and UEFA, CAF, etc. FIFA manages competitions around the world, so international competitions across continents, intercontinental competitions. UEFA is for Europe, again, international competitions in Europe. CAF is for Africa. CONCACAF is like South America, and so on. So you have organizations that create competitions, aka live performances, live competitions in certain geographical areas or across the globe. FIFA is the one that creates the competition across the globe. That's why, hence the World Cup. Okay, it's every country from around the world, they qualify to play in that. So they extract value by monetizing every way possible that competition, and they share some of those revenues with the participants. Same way with the competitions in Europe, international, same way with in Africa, and so on. The more attention, the richer that competition is, the more money it makes. FIFA, the biggest attention in these international competitions, UEFA second, and so on. From that, let's look at the clubs as well. The clubs are the employers of the players. The players, if you think about it, performing for the international team or for your country comes with a lot of benefits. 1, PR. 2, building your brand. 3, getting recognition at the world stage, maybe for transfers to bigger clubs. And 4, maybe loyalty. In some cases, depends on the character. Maybe you are also looking to help your country's team win and build history in that sense. In the entertainment world, your team is more winning or is better performing. So that's something maybe you want to do as well. But the employer is the club. And those clubs are brands. It's a brand. You have a brand style of play. They have a way of performing, and they hire players that can perform accordingly. And they have their own rivalries, their own attention machine throughout the year in their leagues. And if they play in the Champions League, it's building that attention throughout the year. The bigger the attention on a club, the more money it generates, the richer the club, the better players they can bring, and so on. Usually those are the clubs also with some past success. So any league, look at it, the clubs with the past success have the history, have the attention, they can monetize it in every way possible. Some examples: ticket sales for the games, shirt sponsorships. So they sell the ability to manufacture their shirts, their brand, for a different brand to put their logo on their shirts and sell those shirts. To have their own media. They have again, I'm not going to get into every which way they make money. It's, you understand the business model. It's attention. How can I make money off of that attention? Any way possible. It could be new ways in the future. It could be continuing with the old ways. It's I have attention. I have people that feel a way about me performing. When we win, they're excited. When we lose, they're angry. They're following what we're doing on social media. They're tracking our training. They're tracking. That doesn't happen in other forms of entertainment. So how can they monetize every step of the way? If you're watching the training, they're putting sponsors on that. If you're watching pre-game, they're doing things for that. Post-game, things for that. During the game, monetize the tickets, monetize the streaming rights, all of that. Above that, you have organizations like the leagues, right? The Premier League, La Liga, all this. Once again, like FIFA, they organize a competition. So this is an organized competition. I guess above that is that like the football federation or association. So they manage the leagues, the different tiers. The top tier, we're talking about that. They're organizing a competition for those teams to perform. They manage, PR for that. Each team is managing its PR. Everybody's trying to sell you that attention. Everybody's trying to get your attention to watch that league, to watch that team, create competitions, rivalries, derbies, all of that. So you have the clubs, you have the leagues, and then you have sponsors. Like I said, the shirt sponsors on manufacturers to actually manufacture the shirts. All of those are benefiting from one thing: your attention, your belonging to that team, your sense of affiliation. Any way possible is going to be monetized. Whether it's to watch, to sell your product, to get you to go and pay, any which way possible, your attention on that product is going to be monetized. Agents are part of the industry, moving one player from another, media characters to discuss those transfers and who's going to play where, and getting your attention throughout the year for that. Who's going to play where, who's going to get to that team, who's moving. The agents are getting fees of every transfer. All this movement, all this news, all the attention, goes back to that word, attention, is the catalyst for the revenue in the industry. And you understand that, goes back to what I said. Entertainment with a sense of belonging creates an ecosystem that's unbeatable. So that attention will be monetized any which way possible. I'm not sure if the leagues do this, but it's known that FIFA has done it. So again, each organization has its own deals to make money off of the competition that it created. FIFA has the World Cup or any intercontinental competition. They made a deal with betting companies. That's another way to make money, right? The tickets, the sponsors, everything. But if you're looking at betting companies and you're looking at how they calculate the odds, they have access to the data for all the previous games, for all the future games. Any data that FIFA has, they have access to it, and it's a deal that they made. That's two things. One, it keeps your attention. If you're betting on a game, you're more invested. So not only is your attention on it from all the different news and the competition and the rivalries, not only are you attached to it emotionally for whatever reason you have that attachment, now you may be financially invested to win money or to not lose money. And in that case, they win twice. They get the money for the sponsorship for the betting companies. Think of them as background sponsors because they're buying the data, or partners, and they get you to pay more attention to their product, to the games. So it's a win-win for them. Once again, forget if you put morals aside or whether that's the right thing or not. It is them trying to monetize that attention as much as possible and get you to pay more attention to it as well. This is the same exact reasons why players get paid large contracts. It's all public. Everybody talks about it also when the transfers happen, how much money they're going to be getting and so on. They get paid because, one, they can perform the skill that is needed for that performance, and two, for keeping your attention, especially if there's someone that's really good at that performance or putting together that performance or pushing that performance forward or getting you to be more emotionally attached. Whatever part of the puzzle that they can push forward, they can get paid more for it. So if you have someone who's really good at that, at pushing that performance or putting that performance together, aka skilled generational talent, as far as the talent, as far as the skill, the ability to put that performance together, and especially in a synchronized manner with the team to outperform the competition and score and win. So that moves you emotionally. And they may have some charisma, they may have some draw to them. They have the it factor. That is your superstar. That is the face of the league. That's the person that they will slap their face on everything. On brands would pay more, so they make money from the clubs. They pay more, they get more brand deals because this is now the draw. This is the person you feel a sense of achievement when they win. People cry when a player wins a competition or win an individual award, Ballon d'Or, because they somehow have an emotional attachment to that player. They feel something when that person achieves. They feel that they've achieved it. And I'm going to get into that in a second, actually. But this is why the players get the money they get. The clubs are generating all this money, as we discussed. How can they up their performance to even get more attention and more awards, maybe from the competitions that they're in, and get more people to be drawn to them emotionally? Because the more you win, people want to be associated with winners. So they're going to get maybe younger kids to be a fan of their club, and the machine continues. So they want to get the best players, so they pay them more. And if someone is good at the skill, has the charisma, that's your top player, everybody wants to hire them, to pay them, to be associated with their brand, and the cycle continues. So this is why players get what they get to push that machine forward. This is why also media characters get paid what they get when they're someone that draw attention to the studio, because this is a part of the process. If you're just interested in the game, if you're just interested in watching the game and the players, they're missing out on advertising before the game, post game, during the analysis, the studios at night discussing the game from the morning, or discussing the game tomorrow. How can they get you to watch that? If you have a character that's able to draw attention to that studio, to draw attention to that show, that's your superstar sports media character. Most players understand that game. Most players understand that if they're getting criticized, if they're getting smeared, and they have an enemy in the media, they know the game. There's a part of attention. And that person, that's your superstar presenter. That's your superstar pundit, and so on. They get paid for that reason, to get you to watch that show. Meaning the show can charge sponsors more, can charge advertisers more. They make more money, so they give that person more money. That's why studios also now, you see them doing, they're trying to be funny and creating chemistry in the studio, because that makes you watch, not just for them to analyze what happened. And again, it's an entertainment, it's a live performance. All this analysis, is it really, if you look at it at a principles basis, it's not really, is it really needed? Is it necessary? You've already watched the performance. You've already tuned in. Now you have to tune in of what happened. Why that performance was that way. Why wasn't it a different way? What mistakes did the conductors, aka the coaches, do? Or the performers themselves, the players, do? That's what coaches are. They're conductors of that performance. So when you look at it this way, you understand why they create these false, maybe, sense of animosity in the studio, or chemistry in the studio, whichever way they can actually get you to pay attention. And they test it again and again. And you see, if something goes viral, they do it again and again. This is that business model for them. How can we get you to watch the pregame, the postgame, the night show, the morning show, different sports show, to talk about now all the different games that weekend, and you're just watching. As long as you tune in to watch, that draw to that would be someone that gets paid. There's also something that explains to you why women in soccer don't get paid as much. It is something that's discussed a lot. Is it unfair? It's simply a matter of money and revenue. They're not making as much money. They're not generating as much attention. That's the bottom line. If they do, if the Women's World Cup generate as much money as the Men's World Cup, they would definitely be superstars. If you know and follow and care about the performance of, and the personal life of, and the transfer news of women in soccer, they would be getting paid as much. And when you look at it also in terms of percentage, well, maybe they're not getting paid the same percentage. Well, also because clubs and leagues, they need they have a certain overhead that they need to run those organizations, to run those entertainment organizations, to run those live performances. So sometimes it could be a lower percentage also because their overhead compared to the men's overhead is a smaller percentage of the total. So this is, if you want to support women's sport, if you're someone watching and you care about women's sport, women's pay in sports, pay attention to it, watch it, tune into the studios, create fan groups, build the same ecosystem and the sense of affiliation, the sense of belonging, the false sense of war, the same environment that's around men's sport, then women would get paid the same. If you're someone who cares about that, you should push that. But this is the ecosystem, that's how it works. And if you're a young and up and coming player, or a current player for that matter, understanding your place in that ecosystem can be to your advantage. Don't look at it as like, I'm just a clown or a performer. In the industry you're someone who's helping put together that performance. You're used to capture people's attention and so on. But if you understand that the better you are at putting together that performance, at bringing together a better performance than opposition, pushing together the brand that you are hired by, your ability to capture people's attention, you understand that. And you understand also that they want you in that machine forever. So your agent, the team around you, they don't necessarily want you free. They want you to continue feeding the machine, continue being in the machine. So understanding that can help you. If you're able to become a professional athlete, for sure, you're someone who can make a lot of money at a young age, have the fame, have the accolades, have success, have people see their success in you, have people follow you to feel successful through you. But you could take advantage of that and gain your freedom from that system, still play, but gain freedom from the system by taking those assets, take all that money, the fame, the ability to generate money. And your first priority should be to be free, to not need more, to invest, to use that as asset generation, but not to be a slave to that system, not to just follow the lifestyle that your agent and everybody wants you to do, because that feeds them. The more you are in that system, the more transfers, the more noise, the more problems. Maybe that's actually better for them. So you want it better for you first, then obviously everybody will take advantage of that. It's a part of the ecosystem, but focus on your freedom. And if you're able to but understand that what it is, you are a performer that gets people to pay attention. Seeing that it's all about attention, sense of belonging, sense of war, false sense of triumph or loss, you understand why people are diehard fans. You get the people that have the fan groups, maybe watch YouTube channels for that team, maybe follow the pregame, the postgame, the transfer news. All of these things, you understand why they have that sense of belonging to that team and attachment to that team. You understand why they would wear someone's shirt, another man's name on their back. You could ask why that's the case. Why would you feel a sense of achievement from a different person, a complete stranger that doesn't even know you exist, and wait for them to sign it? Other than maybe you want to sell it if you're doing it for a business. But even then, having that sense of a virtual sense of accomplishment from seeing someone else do that, and then wearing their shirt, feeling success when that person is successful, feeling like you have to support them as if you are doing this thing, or you are striving to be successful, looking at them as above everything, looking at them as superhuman, maybe not even human. When you see people bowing to certain players, it's incredible. So now you understand what it is. You wouldn't bow to someone for potentially putting together a performance in a theater, or maybe you clap, maybe you appreciate the art. But to see someone as above everything, to see someone as godly in a way, is incredible. And it comes from that business model. But you have to question why that's the case. How could you then have that sense of achievement for yourself? Why don't you chase success in your field, whether you try to play that sport and you failed, that's fine. Next, what's your next challenge? What's something you can become in this in this world? And it's not about fame. It's not just about money. It's about accomplishing something that makes you feel fulfilled. Why is the sense of fulfillment coming only from that? That obviously is the reason the sport is very successful. But at the individual level, you have to question why there are it's billions of people. Look at the World Cup and how many people are watching. The animosity between certain teams, and that happens with clubs. That happens with at the local level in each continent. That happens again in neighborhoods in the same city, neighborhoods, and people fight. And the poorer, by the way, the poorer the population, the bigger the animosity, the bigger the sense of achievement when the team wins. You see, even in some countries, people kill each other. It happened. Fans fight to sometimes kill each other. Maybe they're the same nationality, same race, same religion. It's not even any of that. You look in the World Cup, maybe you have these differences, but at the local level, it happens. It would happen at every level. This insanity is something you have to look at and consider. But you have to also wonder, if people look at it only as entertainment, if people see it for what it is, it's a live performance, it's entertainment. You could watch it, appreciate it as art, appreciate it as a live performance with so many moving pieces. Everybody has to do a certain job to get that performance together to outperform the opposition, with a conductor that helps these people be fit to perform the task, also understand the task at hand, or the synchrony, the symphony that they need to put together. If I give an analogy, this is what it is. So can you just appreciate that and maybe support your local team, support a team you like, and that's it? Maybe a lot of people are. But most people take it as diehard fans. I don't know if it's many people. And you have to question why that's the case. But if not as many people are like that, would the sport survive? Would the sport actually be as big as it is? If you just see it as entertainment, if you see it as something you just want to watch and have fun, maybe you allocated that time to have fun, or you just instead of watching a movie, you'll watch that. You're a fan of the sport, you like the performance. Would it be as big? Would it generate as much money? Would it then have as talented of performers, people at a young age aspiring to make it, to make a lot of money, to get the fame? Would killing that feeling kill the entire ecosystem from top, as far as revenue, to bottom channel pipeline? That's a question. I'm actually curious your opinion. Would that break it? Let me know in the comments. Would it break it? If people stop debating, arguing, fighting, getting so emotionally invested in a sport, Messi or Ronaldo, this or that, every generation they're going to create the new debate. Messi, Ronaldo, Pele, Maradona. Is it going to be Mbappe and Yamal? It's on and on. They're always going to try to find the next. You have to have that. If you don't have that debate, the sport is dying. So now you understand the business model. You get an idea of how they're trying to push those stars and create more performers, make you attached to them, not only for their performance on the pitch, but also as a character. You get your sense of achievement from seeing them perform. If people stop those debates and just see it for what it is and use it as entertainment, would it die? Let me know. So am I telling you to stop watching? Am I telling you it's something that you should completely abandon? No, I've been watching the World Cup. I have a favorite team. It's Manchester United, okay? And I separate myself. And it's something, by the way, psychologically, I'm interested to see how it affects you. Because even with all what I'm telling you, sometimes I feel sad or feel disappointed when my team wins, when the US gets eliminated, and so, or a team I'm supporting. This is natural, but then you remind yourself of what it is. It's entertainment, etc. But I'm not saying you stop watching. I'm saying maybe focus on your achievements. Maybe not take your kid to that pipeline, thinking that you're helping them, thinking that you're taking your kid to a game, instilling in them the love for that team, instilling in them looking up to a player that you don't know, a complete stranger, a strange man that you don't know, and having your kid look up to that person. Okay? Maybe not that. That's for sure something you shouldn't do. If there's one thing I'm going to voluntarily say, it's that. Do not have your kid from a young age look up to a stranger. If your kid plays a sport and plays soccer and he wants to play a certain way, maybe look up to how that player is performing on the pitch. But the idea of having your kid wear a certain name, having your kid go to take a autograph, a photo, this you're instilling in them the behavior of a fan, making your kid become a fan, and feeding feeding the pipeline, filling the pipeline of new fans that would continue that entire machine, keep it rolling. So if you understand this, I'm going to be breaking down different industries to the core, to how it works psychologically, to why it exists. Subscribe. I'm going to be making more videos about different industries. If you're interested in that, subscribe. Also, I want to know from you, in this ecosystem, who do you think has the least power? From the clubs, the leagues, the players, the fans. In this ecosystem, everybody that's included, and if I miss someone, also mention it in the comments. Who do you think has the least power? Let me know in the comments, subscribe, and you'll see the next video when I post it.